back to my channel. Chynna here, and today I'm going to be doing another holiday makeup tutorial. This one is going to be more of like a gold shimmery kind of vibe or whatever, so it'll be perfect for the holidays and just any other time that you want to like get out, you know what I'm saying, and you know what I'm saying, shake them cheeks. So before we get started, these braids are brought to you by Mind Your Business and Judge Your Mama. These are of what's up under my wig, and I was like, why am I gonna put a wig on just to, no. So anyways, if you want to see this kind of simple, kind of festive holiday look, stay tuned. Okay, so before I even jumped on camera, I did my brows. I used the term did very loosely because, as you can see, they are still trash. I do need to get them threaded, and I'm not really into like overly sculpting my brows at this stage in my life, so you know, I just work with what is and go from there. And I also prime my eyelids, so I'm gonna use this Juvia's Place Zulu palette, and I'm gonna use this color up here, that orange, kind of burnt orange at the top, and I'm gonna use that in my crease. And I've been working really hard to get this glitter off of my face. I was trying to do another tutorial and I couldn't find my fucking, I was trying to do another tutorial and I couldn't find my glitter glue, so I was like, let me try some alternatives. And I did try alternatives and they were trash. They did not work. And here we are. I'm gonna go into my masquerade palette and I'm going into the color here, and I'm just gonna do this like on my outer V area, what you call it, like my outer corner more so. Still circular motion. So, have you guys gotten a chance to see Queen Slim? If you haven't, I'm about to spoil it for you. So, this would be a good time to lead a room. So Queen and Slim for me was kind of disappointing. Like, I really had this, I went into it with the idea that it was just going to be everything that I needed in a black film. Like, I haven't really had a, I haven't, well, not really had, I haven't really seen in quite some time like a really good like Love Jones-esque black love story, you know, where it's like all black people and we're speaking our language unapologetically. We're smart, we're educated. Like, I haven't done like a good feel-good movie like that in quite some time. So when Lena Waithe was on the Breakfast Club and she was talking about the movie, I'm like, yes, that's what this is kind of gonna be. You know, just the difference is that they are two people who killed a cop. Like, okay, you know, I could dig that, you know. So I have very high expectations. And even like before I went, it was a lot of people that were saying they didn't like it. They didn't feel like it was, you know, a black film. They felt like it was anti-black, and I just felt like, oh Lord, here we go again, over critiquing black films and, you know, not being happy that black people are out here working. You got a director, you got a writer. Like, that's where I was coming from. That's the space I was coming from. Because sometimes I do feel like nothing is good enough for black people sometimes. Like, I feel like, you know, you criticize Tyler Perry, you criticize everybody that's trying, you know, it might not be your type of movie or your type of vibe, but it's like, I just am thankful when I see black people working and they have a job and they have an opportunity and a platform that they could build on. It might not even be where they want to be yet, but just the opportunity for them to excel, I'm thankful for. You know, I'm thankful to see black faces on TV and film. So, you know, so that's where I was coming from in regards to just feeling like, oh, here we go. But after seeing the movie, I literally shared the same feelings of the people who critiqued it, because I left the movie feeling like, what in the entire fuck? Like, what did I just watch? What was the point? Like, that's what I left um feeling like what was the point of all of this? It seemed like it had no point. It seemed like, I don't know, if somebody just said this would be so dope if this was on time. I don't know. So this was literally the story of two people who swipe right on Tinder, um, who would not have otherwise been with each other, you know, like going forward. Like, it wasn't a good date. They wasn't really feeling each other. Especially the female character, or the female, whatever, woman character. She definitely wasn't feeling him. That's the vibe I got, right? And you know, you kind of learn what she did for a living or whatever the case may be. But anyways, after the date, as he's taking her home, they, you know, get caught up in a routine traffic stop where the cop is gonna kill the man. He's already shot the woman, and the black man, ends up getting the gun and killing the cop. So the attorney, the woman, she's an attorney, she says they need to just flee, they need to go, like, you're gonna become property of the state. He wants to stay. So throughout the whole film, you understand that these are completely two different people that are just brought together by this incident. So they make a run for it. They decide along the way, police picks them up because they run out of gas. They always run out of gas. They run out of gas. They flag down the car. It happens to be a police. He takes them to the gas station, realizes they're on a run that damn fast, and instead of killing him, they put him in the trunk, and they decide that they're gonna go to her uncle's house, who stays in New Orleans. And they get there, and the uncle is a pimp, living in a home with his hoes. So I'm using this Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeliner. I like it pretty good. I didn't have opportunity to go to Macy's to get the gel one, so I picked this up at Sephora. They were selling this around the same time that the Jackie Aina launch came out, so dries matte, pretty good. But anyways, they get to the uncle's house, and they tell them that they need, you know, to get out of town, they need a car, they need money. And initially he tells them no, until she tells them until she says, like, you owe me, which is our first, like, you know, moment or whatever. So he then agrees to give her the car or whatever. So they get a car. He tells her he can hook her up with somebody that can help them in another place or whatever. And I'd be damned if they get on the road, everything going good, they even go to a club where everybody knows who they are, but nobody tells on them because everybody's black, and everybody like, "But you be happy that you doing this? Like, we ain't never seen this type of story happen." You know, and everybody's just proud and all of that. But then they end up having car trouble. Go to a mechanic, and the mechanic decides he's gonna charge them full price. But they're like, you know, standing over him while he's working, and he can't work like that. So he tells his son to walk with them, you know, to keep them busy while he continues to fix the car. So the son is this real melancholy kid that's talking about, you know, leaving, being immortal even after you die, and how, you know, honored he is to be around them and all this and that. And it was real eerie for me, but you know, hey, these are the Lily Galichi's eyelashes. that I'm putting on in the style Miami. So yeah, I was kind of like, okay. Um, but I felt like it fed into the story. So I'm like, okay, cool. Whatever. Um, the car gets back on the road. Like, you have to watch the movie because I don't want to give like this whole whatever. But I, like I said, I was disappointed in it because so they continue, you know, to go on a run. They end up making it to the destination that her uncle sent them to. But, you know, as soon as they sitting down and had their dinner, they realize that somebody tipped them off and here the police come. So the police aren't able to find them because the place that the person that's hiding them, these tweezers. The person that's hiding them is like one of his, I guess, military buddies. So the house is tricked out pretty good as far as like hiding spaces. Like Harriet Tubman would have been proud. This definitely would have been one of her safe places or whatever. So yeah. So that's what happens as pertains to that. They go into hiding there. So they're not able to be found. She decides, because she's the ringleader. She decides that she's tired of hiding at this location. I don't know if last time y'all weren't able to see. So what I'm going to do is I'm underpainting. So I am putting my foundation on there. And this is the Forever Skin Glow by Dior. It's a 5N. That's the color. And then I'm going to take my Makeup Forever airbrush thinner and I'm going to, hopefully you guys can see this, add a few drops. And then I'm just going to use the back of this brush and I'm just going to mix that up. And it will make sense in the end. So now I'm just going to go ahead and do my concealer and my contouring. But yeah, so they try to like hotbox a car. I think that's what it's called, hotboxing. They try to hotbox the neighbor's car, I believe, out of their garage, end up getting caught by another police that happens to be black, who lets them go. Yay for them. Very unrealistic, I think, but you know, just in general, yay for them. So now they're back on the run again. They contact the number of the person who they're supposed to be contacting that's going to help them get to Cuba. They got the number, they got the information. So the person comes, it's a black person. It's very eerie because you already could feel, it just don't feel right. They don't feel right about it. And just like ahead of time, social media had already killed it for me. So I already knew they was gonna die, and I already knew who was, you know, who had something to do with it, who was gonna be involved. But I didn't have like, you know, what was gonna happen. So I was okay with still watching it. This person ended up being a person that sold them out. They had a sex scene in there. The sex scene was combined with the young black boy who they met, who was so inspired by them. He ended up he ended up going to a protest, and the police officer was black and begged him, like, please go home. He kept saying, are you gonna shoot me? The guy said, no, I'm not gonna shoot you, you know, but I'll arrest you. Please go home. And instead of him going home, he decides to kill the police officer, to shoot him in the face. They don't show what happens to the boy, but apparently he gets killed, which is, you know, a normal course of events. So anyways, as you think that they're gonna make it off into the sunset because they get to the plane and everything, the police show up. So she decides, the police tell them to put their hands down. Of course, you know, she decides, like, I'm never letting your hand go, Jack. I'm never letting go. So they shoot her first, then they shoot him, and movie ends. So, like for me, I left that movie theater feeling super heavy. I just felt like so much of it was unnecessary and didn't make sense. You know, I get that this is something that's happening to us right now. You know what I mean? So like I get that. But I felt like if you were gonna make it realistic all across the board. If you were gonna make it more so fictional, then make it fictional all across the board. I just feel like in the time and the climate that we live in, it was no need for them to kill the characters off, because that's a realistic ending to a non-realistic movie. Like at one point, they went to go rob the man at the gas station for some gas, and you know, because they didn't have any money, and they're like, oh, and he's like, oh, well, he sees a gun that he has, and he's like, oh, well, if you let me hold a gun, then I'll give you the gas for free. Like that's just unrealistic. Like all of that was unrealistic. Like just completely unrealistic. And so I feel like if it was unrealistic, like it was, then why couldn't the main characters live? Like I just felt like I didn't feel empowered. I didn't feel happy, or I didn't feel anything but sad and uh hopeless. It just gave me a sense. It just gave me a sense of hopelessness, and I could not shake that feeling because I feel like I'm a mother, you know, of two little black boys, and I just feel like what was that supposed to say to my kids? You know, if you shoot a police, you know, you don't have to die right then. You just die 6 days later. Like to me, I just felt like it just didn't send out any good messages. I feel like it was unrealistic, but then you just felt like they had to die for a dramatic exit, for like a dramatic ending. Like I just didn't. And the one thing that triggered me, I guess, the most was the young black guy who didn't have to kill a police officer. To me, it was very much like what we see today on social media, like clout chasing. He did not have to kill the police officer. He only did it to emulate them, to leave behind this legacy. And it's like very seldom do people make history books. You have to do something very profound to make history. And I just felt like in this movie, that's not what I don't know. I just felt like that was, I don't know. I felt like almost like they was encouraging that by having him die, because it was just so unnecessary. And it's like, as a parent, I'm gonna dig somebody up and then re-kill them fucking with my child. Like kids are impressionable. So I don't know. And then the way they showed him dying was attached to a sex scene. It just felt weird to me, and I just didn't like it. Like I didn't like the messaging that it sent to black people, because we already know what we up against. You know, we try to stay hopeful, but at this point, we know that a police can come into our house unannounced, kill us, and still get off. And so it's like, was this film to further depress us? Because she painted it as this like triumphant story, and there was no triumph. If it was, I need somebody to drop in the comments and tell me, like, where was the triumph in this story? Where did they overcome anything? Because in the end, they died on the street like dogs. You know, the crazy thing is, the guy who played the uncle, I cannot remember his name, but he is a really good actor. And I felt the most emotion from watching him, because I felt like this is how, you know, black families be. You know, you got the feeling that she didn't love her uncle, but as she kept talking, she kind of let you know that her and her uncle used to be close, and then he went to the war and it just fucked his mind up. So she didn't hate him. It was probably disappointment. I have somebody in my family that, you know, that I love a lot, and they probably would never know how much I love them, just because You know, we have a difference in lifestyles and a difference in, you know, stuff like that. So it causes us to be estranged. But if something happened to this person, I would be distraught. And I felt that same thing with the uncle. And in black families, you know, a lot of people use the term toxic and stuff like that. But a lot of us, you know, we're living off survival. You know, and we still are. A lot of us are still living off of a survival, on a survival basis. And can you blame us? I can't blame, you know, my grandma wasn't the warmest person in the world. You know, that's my, you know, that's my baby. I love my grandma and still, of course, do. Well, she's not here anymore, but I can't blame her for not being warm growing up in 1921 Dothan, Alabama, where every day you don't know. As a black person, your fate is not secure. So, you know, all you want for your loved ones is just for them to be safe and happy. And so to see the emotion or the lack of emotion or whatever from her uncle, like, it just really sent, that part was just a lot for me. And it just triggered me because it's like, when you have black kids, black boys or whatever, like, all you want is for your child to make it home at the end of the day. And it's so many things that you're thinking about, that you're worried about. You know, my son goes to an all-white school. He's the only black kid in his class. You know, I have to make sure that he's informed of who he is, but at the same time, you know, try to, you know, express things to him in a manner that doesn't solicit hate of other people. And that's hard. It's hard to talk about a group of people enslaving another group of people and then expect someone not to be mad about it or not to feel hatred. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a natural, anger, hatred is a natural feeling, you know, under circumstances. Under those circumstances. So I don't know. I just felt like I have enough stuff to worry about as a black person when it comes to raising my sons and shit. And this was just not a movie that I needed. It wasn't something that I needed in my psyche. Especially when, like I said, like, there was no solutions. And truthfully, you know, somebody was like, well, there was no way they could survive. But when you really think about it, Asada Shakur escaped from prison, went to Cuba, and remained there until she died. Well, my husband told me she died. I don't know if that lady died. But yeah, so it is possible. It was possible, you know. It wasn't, the chances ain't that, I ain't gonna say it's that likely, but it's still possible. And I feel like that could have been something to focus on rather than them dying. Like, I just felt like once they died, that took any hope out of the movie that there was. And then the fact that a black person ratted them out, yeah, I can see that happening. That's a real life. Sometimes we do that to our own people. But do I need to see a movie of us doing that to our own people? Like, I don't really need to see that in a movie form. You know, at this point, the news, publications tells us that we are just living to not know. We don't know if today is the day that I'm going to be in a parking lot with a white person and they get mad over a parking spot and they kill me and then they go free, or I kill them and then I go to jail. And, you know, you don't know if you're going to get your just day in court. You don't know if justice is going to be served. Like, and to me, I just feel like I didn't need a movie that cemented that for me. I didn't need a movie, and I don't need somebody to tell me, oh yeah, go support this. This is a black film, and you gonna feel good. And I did not feel good at all in that movie. At least I leave Harriet with, you know, some history, some background, and I feel good. Like, I feel like, wow, like, we're strong ass people. Like, we dealt with all this shit. My ancestors dealt with all this shit. Like, I didn't leave this movie with none of that. I left it just feeling like the future is fucked. I'm fucked. My kids is fucked. Like, what? I just want to know if I could ask Lena one question, I just want to know, like, what was I supposed to get from this? With the information and things that you gave me, what was I supposed to get from this movie? Because I didn't get it. Whatever I was supposed to get, it was not received by me. Aside, I got a real dope soundtrack from this, and that was it. Like, but I would not watch it again. I wouldn't recommend it. Like, no. So if you guys saw the movie or whatever, tell me what your thoughts were. Cause I would love to hear. I would love for a deep ass person or a woke ass person or somebody to like tell me what I could have got from the movie that I didn't get. Because somebody, like I said, tried to tell me like, well, you know, they were always gonna get caught because it's unrealistic. I'm like, well, shit. The whole thing, like I said, was unrealistic to me. Because the most realistic thing is most people would have turned themselves in. Aside from that, the next realistic thing is there was a body cam and it was a traffic stop. So they would have been, you know, dead looking for you know, for them. They wouldn't have been able to get outside the state line. With the way that they were so quick with, as far as, you know, how quick they were with putting out the information, as far as like, you know, that they were wanted or whatever the case may be. If it was that fast, like, come on, man. That's all I'm saying. That was realistic. The gas station scene was unrealistic. The amount of stops they were making, just the police letting them go. One more unrealistic thing in a movie wouldn't hurt. I don't think that we would not benefit from another Django. You know, was there some type of intellectual something that I'm missing? Like, that's what I'm on. Like, am I missing like some type of like hidden messages that I didn't get? Like, I'm willing for somebody to be like, yeah, and then if you look at scene this and that, like, I'll take that. But as it stands, I didn't get any of that from this movie. Like, so, like I said, I don't want to discourage. I'm not trying to discourage nobody from seeing it. But I just would love to understand. So now it makes me want to go see Harriet, because I feel like, you know, nobody put, you know, really any support that I know into seeing Harriet. You know, because it was another quote unquote slave movie. Whereas with this movie, you know, people are, you know, interested in new talent and new flavor, and that's what Lena Waithe is: new talent, new flavor. So I felt like, okay, she got that push with it, but now I want to see a Harriet. Ooh, I'm a daredevil. I'm doing this with no mirror. But did it work? So I'm gonna use this liner that I got from Sephora, the 27. So we have 27, we have, I forget that fast, and we have 18. So let's see. Don't think I'm gonna like them together. Okay, so one thing that I haven't done in a long time, I was just thinking about this, is I've not added highlighter in a long time. And the reason I haven't is because I don't be liking the way it looks on skin. Like, to me, it just looks like you got powder on your skin. So lately, I've just been not doing it. And I haven't been missing it. And the only thing I heard about these are that they're like not precise like a pencil. And I have people be like, why do you overline your lips? And I be like, thinking shut the hell up, but it really be like a mistake trying to like line it correctly. And then I don't like, when I was a new makeup artist, I would go in with my concealer and clean it up. Not, but at this point, it's like an old hoe when it comes to this. So I'm just like, I'm not doing all that. But that don't mean it gotta stop you. Go right ahead and clean it up. And I don't mind, truthfully, you know what too, I don't mind the overlining, because my top lip and my bottom lip are like two different sizes. So when I do overline, it kind of does add the balance to the top and the bottom. So two things I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some, my husband always calls this mascara. I'm gonna add some mascara to the bottom. Okay, and lastly what I'm gonna do is just add some color to my inner corner. I remember I had a homegirl in high school show me this. It was like before I went guys, like go heavy. She was like, yeah, Tyra Banks does it, like makes the makeup I'm like, yeah, so now I always do. Sometimes I'll put it up here and put it in real quick. Let me go and finish this up. Okay, so this is the final look. And like I said, to me, this is like, you know, a real holiday party-ish, especially with the, you know, gold on the eyes. And, you know, the holiday time is like, you know, the golds and the silvers and the shimmery and all that kind of stuff. You can honestly pair this with like a nude lip. You can pair it with this lip, a red lip. Gold is kind of like, you know, as far as like lip colors, is interchangeable. So that's what I like about using golds and things like that, because it gives you a little pop without, you know, feeling like you're doing a lot. And to some people, this might be a lot. This is not a lot to moi, but you know. So yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you can be a part of the ChynnaMai family. I do also have a website, you guys, which is ChynnaMai.com, where I talk about entertainment and some gossip and makeup and fashion and being a mom and being crazy and all that kind of shit. So check out, I'm trying to stop cursing, y'all. But anyways, check out my website, you know what I'm saying, my social medias, all of that. And like I said, thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys somewhere across the internet. Bye-bye.
Pick it up, pack it up, drop it up, come again now. Can we play some